Hi everyone, I'm Becca from Operations with the Prepared Montessori Institute, and I'm here with...
This is Angie. My name is Angela, and I'm actually taking the elementary program at the Prepared Montessori.
Great. And Angela, or Angie, can you please just introduce yourself and tell everyone how you discovered Montessori education?
Okay, I actually discovered Montessori education 14 years ago today.
Wow.
It was the day.
Today?
Yes,
oh,
today.
That's so special.
Yes, it is very special because it's when my oldest son turned 3. He's 17 today. So I learned about Montessori today, exactly 14 years ago.
Wow, that's so amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. That's crazy.
Yes, I learned about Montessori and I made the decision right away that this is something that I needed to do for myself in order to be able to help my kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you discover it on this day, 13 or 17 years ago?
I was in a birthday party and I met a person and she's a Montessori guide and she started to talk about this beautiful world and I fall in love right away. So I registered here in Canada in an institution. So I started the assistant program and I did the guide 3 to 6 program right away too.
Wow, that's amazing. And now you're in the elementary program with the Prepared Montessori Institute. You're kind of in the middle of that. How did you decide to do that training? And what was your motivation to come to PMI?
Yeah, I always had in my heart that I needed to do the complete cycle of Montessori training. And one of my friends actually registered with you first. And she called me and I said, Angie, let's do this together. We're a great team. Let's continue with this training together. So we started together. She's part of the program too. And my motivation is to be able to help my own kids and the other kids around.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so nice. You have a built-in study buddy now and your friend.
Yes.
So what are some of your goals when you finish training? What are you going to do with all this newfound knowledge?
Okay. One of my first goals is to help other moms because I know how hard it is to help your own kids. Yep. And it's not only with the material, it's the other part that we learn from the training.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. That's great. Can you maybe talk about your training experience and how you balance your life and the training schedule and kind of what that looks like? What does the training schedule look like and how does it fit into your own personal life?
Okay. The training is something that I have to live. Like every day there is something I have to do related to work, to the studies. But it's also like it becomes like a lifestyle because it's not only doing activities, it's not only learning about math, language. No, it's about the soul of the child. Yeah. Even the transformation that it has to happen in myself first in order to pass it to others. So it is like every day I have to work on this. At least I do study 2 hours a day. That's the minimum that I have to do, like any readings. I have to also watch videos. I have to submit videos. I have to do my own notes. Yep. So it is very intensive, but you see the learning right away. You see that you can start applying that right away in your life, especially with myself having 3 kids. So I can apply it right away.
Yeah, that's great. Excellent. Sorry, my phone just rang if you heard that. A few technical difficulties going on, but that's what happens with a live recording, right?
That's true. That's live.
Excellent. Great. And do you find it difficult to kind of balance being a mom and having that aspect of your life and also having this intensive training at the same time?
It's not a challenge. It's like just a matter of being organized. My family is my priority. So there are some things that I have to put in the balance. And I said, okay, I stay with my family now. And then I have to go to bed very late so I can have my own time to study. But it's, as I said, it's not just the work that you do to start practicing. It's just that it becomes part of your life. All the transformation that gets into the training.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's more of a lifestyle, and it doesn't feel like work when it's something that we're passionate about. And then when it fills us, it doesn't feel like work. It's
Yes.
motivation, and we want to do it. Yeah.
And there is another aspect too. I was not a good student at school. That's something that everyone knows. So this is not new to the people. So this is feeling my own soul when I actually look at the videos of the way that they explain everything. Is like, oh my God, I don't remember learning this at school, or learning this way, something that is supposed to be so important at school.
Yeah.
So for me, it's being a life changing.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. I think the same way sometimes, where I'm like, oh, I would have benefited so much from going to a Montessori school. Like, my brain didn't really fit into the standardized public school world. So that's great that you're kind of, fulfilling your inner child in that way.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. So I told my parents, and I even said, okay, I know I did so bad, but I know what I have to do now. It's like it's getting into my soul, and that's something that is changing. Like, even the way I see kids learning now is not that they don't understand; it's the way that I teach them, the way that I show them, is the way I show them the world.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. As you go through the training with PMI, what have you found to be the most distinctive aspect of this training program? I know you've done some things with other Montessori training centers and other programs, and what do you think just distinguishes PMI from the rest of the Montessori world?
Okay, first of all, the environment. It is like a family environment, and I love it because I love people. I love to communicate. I love to have spaces where I can be with other people. Right now, everything is virtual, but we have that opportunity. We meet every 2 weeks, and also one Saturday every month. So you can like have friends from all over the world, and you can train with people with different cultures, and that's what I love. We have different cultures involved in the training, so you don't get stuck to what you think it is, but you can be more open-minded and see how the world works. And my trainers, my guides are amazing. They really care about your learning process, and they're there for you.
That's great. So you find, even though our training is majority on the computer, it's virtual, you still feel that community aspect as if you were in person.
Oh yes. Most of us are all connected, and we know who we are. We know where we live. Like, it's nice. Like, when you travel, you know that you have somebody there that you can actually meet.
Yeah, that's true. If you're ever going to a new location, one of your cohort, peers might be there. That's so funny. That's great. And I know that you're currently going to do your in-residency virtually, correct? So you've done your first in-residency, and your second will be virtual?
Yeah, the second will be virtual, but still, you manage your time and you feel like you're with the community.
Yes. So for folks who are interested in our upcoming elementary program that begins this July, they'll also have the opportunity to have a virtual in-residency for the first summer. But some exciting news is that for the second summer, they'll actually be back in person for in-residency in Lake Forest, California. So they won't have to travel twice like we typically do. They'll have one virtual in-residency period and one summer where they're in person. So we're really looking forward to having that in-person quality time, because even though that virtual element still creates a family and a community-like atmosphere, like you said, it still is important to have that in-person component, right? Angie, have you seen that when you've done some of your practicum?
Pardon me? I couldn't hear you.
That's okay. Have you done your practicum yet? Have you started doing some in-person teaching and observation hours?
Yes, I'm working on that. I'm not doing it every day because I'm a mom. I also work, and I like to work with my son's school. I try to do it twice a week, and I'm working on that. And I love to practice what I learn during the week, and that's the opportunity that I have right now. I do it twice a week.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm sure having that in-person component where you can, get your hands on those materials and really interact with children helps advance all the knowledge that you learn in your classroom time online.
Oh, yes. And it makes a big difference because it's not just learning from a video, practicing by yourself here in your own space, but it's also like it's having the child right beside you, asking those questions that you were never expecting. So is the way that you can, like, it's practicing in, like, not just with the material, but just with the relation with the child.
Absolutely. That's great. And, you know, last thing before we kind of wrap up this small interview is if you're talking to someone who's interested in the training, a whole bunch of folks are interested in taking training with us starting this July for elementary. What suggestions would you give them?
I will tell them to get organized beforehand. Make sure they organize their daily schedule. This is so important because it is a lot to work. It is a lot that we have to accomplish, but we see the results in every, like, you see the progress. You see the progress and you see how fast you can learn. But if we get organized, that will be my advice. Like having your own schedule. If you cannot work during the week, try to have something like a block during the weekend, but make sure at least 8 hours a week.
8 hours a week. Got it. Yes. That makes sense. That's really helpful. So always set aside 8 hours a week, whether it's every day or maybe you kind of back end it on the weekends when you have more time. That's great advice. That's super helpful. Well,
that's what is working for me. If I don't have those hours, I try to do 2 hours every day. If I don't do it every day, I know that I will be behind.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's great. That self-accountability is so crucial. And it's nice that you get to meet with your cohort every other week and once a month on Saturdays, but it's still important to have that self-accountability, which it sounds like you have a really great grasp on. That's great advice. Awesome. Well, Angie, it was so great to talk to you. I'm sure everything that we've discussed in this interview will be super helpful to those who are interested in joining us in the future. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you for this interview. And don't hesitate to learn more, to become a better person and to be able to change the world, like starting with yourself and then with the kids.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Becca.
Bye.
Bye.